Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Truth Be Bold. And today we have a very special guest. We have Una Karabeg here from Bold Alumni Network from Bosnia. She's one of our 2022 Generation Fellows. So, hi, Una. Welcome. And please tell us a bit more about yourself.
Hi, Anya. Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me here. I'm currently working as marketing coordinator for Deloitte in Bosnia and Herzegovina. Besides that, I'm also developing my startup idea that I've been developing throughout the Bold Fellowship program. And I'm working as well as on developing some other skills. And currently, I actually write from such an education in Budapest.
So, Una, considering that you're this type of person that always is seeking how to self-improve and develop, and you're a member of multiple organizations, associations kind of directed towards young people, what is the grand vision behind all of that, and where does it stem from?
That's a very hard question in the sense that there is no one simple answer for that. It's kind of a mix of different things. There's, of course, a vision for improving the society in Bosnia and Herzegovina. I truly believe that we as young people have the power in our hands to change the ecosystem in which we live in. In my case, that's Bosnia and Herzegovina. And the only way to actually improve anything else is to improve yourself. And if you work on your own skill set, if you always expand your knowledge related to different kinds of things, like not only entrepreneurship or only marketing, but also some other things like policy making and basically developing any type of skill set can help you become a multidisciplinary person that can then help different organizations and different environments. So by working on ourselves, we actually can help better the society, both through volunteering and through, corporate engagements, as well as entrepreneurship.
So if I remember correctly, you were an active member of the community since a very young age, since you were a teenager and everything. Can you tell me a bit about the major changes you've gone through since, let's say, 16-year-old Una, and what are some of the professional developments that you've experienced that you would highlight?
As I started, like now it's 10 years of community experience and volunteering. I started when I was 13 with my first education. And the biggest highlight that I would emphasize here would definitely be that it shaped me to choose what I'm doing right now. By volunteering in different organizations that help youth in Bosnia and Herzegovina, first in Bugojno, my hometown, and then, of course, at the state level and the regional level, shaped me to become who I am now. And what do I mean by that? It's the work with other people definitely directed me to do something people related that I'm born with, like the special gift that I can do to really talk to people, to negotiate, to advocate for things that matter. And that kind of chose my path that guided me. That's why I chose like economics and international business. And further on, I believe that the greatest change that I can make apart from like the volunteering sector is also through private sector, through companies, different corporate social responsibility actions, but also throughout hopefully my startup one day.
As you were mentioning all of these different skill sets, I was imagining, the perfect entrepreneur, the ones we see on the paper. Would you say entrepreneurship then for you is as much of as a character trait as it your professional journey and your path?
Absolutely, Anya. I mean, being an entrepreneur is not always about, starting a company and only when you start the company, you become that entrepreneur. It's also about entrepreneurship. It's simply the mindset that you bring, like to constantly try to find different ways to do the exact same thing. I can definitely say that this entrepreneurship mindset contributes to my working environment, because if you work under a large brand, you always have to be innovative in a way. And I find it really inspiring, to sometimes work within a box, so to speak, but also to be very innovative. And that entrepreneurship mindset is something that young people should really develop from a young age, to constantly try to find new ways, better ways to optimize what's already there, what's already existing.
What is actually branding in the Western Balkans? Why should young people care about it? How can they use it for their own personal advantage in, pursuing their career goals?
In this age, in 21st century, I would say that personal branding is not only a nice thing to have, but a must, especially in a market that's really saturated. Western Balkans is comprised of very little markets. Like when we talk even about the size of population, on the size of population, we have a lot of domestic companies, startups, international corporations, and a lot of people that are well known now are players in the market for like 10 or 15 or even 20 years. And it's really hard in this age of social media to, build a name for yourself in an industry, especially if you're a young person, because you don't have that age in terms of experience, especially in terms of working experience. A lot of more mature people in the market use. It takes some time, and it's definitely my advice for all the young people to position themselves, whatever it is that they do throughout the Western Balkans, like to position themselves on LinkedIn and on other social media accounts where they can reach their audience. Because at one point, we can look at LinkedIn as, okay, this is a place where we showcase what we professionally know. But if we look in the long run, for instance, Instagram and Facebook, what Facebook used to be before TikTok and everything, even TikTok, all these people that we present what we do to them, they are actually going to become our coworkers. They are going to be the on the other side of negotiation for something. And that's why it's really important to showcase what we do, even on some informal social media platforms. So building a personal brand now became much more than just posting your achievements on LinkedIn. It really became communicating with the people in your country and in the region, and really positioning yourself as someone who has a certain skill set. And whatever that might be, it might be environmental protection, it might be marketing, it might be international relations, whatever it is, it's very important that people brand themselves as people who really know how to do it without any imposter syndrome on social media, because everyone has to start somewhere.
What were some of the common mistakes you've made during building your platform, your branding, your audience?
We all make mistakes.
Of course.
But for instance, one of the things I would highlight would definitely be the mindset to accept every opportunity that's there. When we start on the journey, we usually have this feeling that we cannot miss out on anything, that we have to take every education, that we have to attend everything that anyone invites us to. And as we progress as individuals and as professionals, we realize that it's okay to say no. It's okay to decline something that you're not really as interested in. It's okay to select education. It's okay to select the organization to volunteer in, to select the company to work for. Really or be more inward oriented, and to never select something just because it's a good opportunity per se, if it clashes with your values.
It's really nice how you weaved into the values, and I would think maybe that's also a great stepping stone of asking you the next question, which is, in the pool of opportunities that we have in Bosnia, in the Western Balkans, how do you shift gears and know which opportunities to take? What are your tips for anybody seeking opportunities? How did you come from Bugojno all the way to Sarajevo and across the world?
First, locally, it's good to start when people are already in high school to explore something that can be done locally. It doesn't have to be some major international organization that operates worldwide. It's okay to make a change in your hometown. Start somewhere, and then opportunities will follow. It's sometimes strange to think about it that way, but when you ask for opportunities and when you look for them, it's kind of that they come to you, as well as every other challenge. For instance, a lot of people are resistant to make changes because they're afraid. What will happen with the work? What will happen with the university? What will happen if I take this opportunity? Especially if we talk about, for instance, Bold Fellowship. It's a month in another country. Not a lot of people are willing to take that step to be 1 month abroad. Will that impact my career? Will I lose my job? Will I have problems at the university? But somehow when you make a decision, everything else falls in line. You find the funds, your job is safe, your boss understands, and it's really about like building a life for yourself. Simply apply, and yes, apply even if you don't fill out all the qualifications. That's really important thing to say, because sometimes your perception of yourself might be lesser than what other people perceive. So don't be afraid, even if you don't check all the boxes, just apply.
Especially if you're a girl in the Western Balkans. I saw a statistic recently, only like 40% of women apply to a position, like they fill out maybe 80% of the requirements.
Yeah.
And you say, you have so much support coming from different areas, whether it's your work, but what about, who's your support system? Does it take a village to follow a journey, or did you make your own village? How did it work in your case?
A little bit of both. When you go on a journey like this, a lot of people don't follow you throughout your life, and that's okay. It's okay to lose people who wouldn't be there to support you, but I definitely have to emphasize the role of some key people and key organizations that supported me throughout my journey. That would definitely be my parents. They supported me since very young age to always, I don't know, take piano lessons, go dancing, go do anything that I really like. They never pushed me to do something that I didn't express my willingness to. And they have always been the support system, even when they were kind of afraid. It wasn't easy for them to like hear that I'm gonna go for a month in New York or for 10 days in Japan, or those things are not easy to hear, but they never restricted me in any way. They always were my rock and my support, and someone who I can always talk to. And I'm really happy that I have them. Other than that, I always had a great support from my workplace as well as from my university. Everyone there were like very proud of me, and they were presenting and promoting my achievements, which made me really happy, because it feels really good to belong to places that recognize you as an individual and that appreciate you as an individual. That's what goes with these values that I mentioned earlier. Like, if you really find a place where you absolutely belong to as a person, and at the place where they respect and appreciate people like you, then everything else also follows. So definitely, like, those three stakeholders would be the best support system: my family, my university, and my work.
Speaking of the support system, we're going to turn that question upside down and be like, what are your doubts? And how do you deal with them? Because even when you're at a successful level and everything is on track as you envisioned it, it's only natural to have doubts and all the roads you've taken.
Of course, every bright side has its darkness. Like, even if we talk about yin and yang, there's always a lot of darkness where there is a lot of light. There's a night and day. And of course, everyone has their doubts, and especially if from a young age you weren't really understood. For instance, when I was living in my hometown, it's a smaller community, and at that time, what I was doing and what I was aspiring to do was not something that people usually do in Bosnia and Herzegovina. So there was a lot of reluctance and a lot of jealousy from my peers. And that's something that's been blocking me, not to achieve my full potential, but blocking me to fully understand and love who I am. If it weren't for my parents who supported me, the pressure could have perhaps made a different impact on my life. Because when you get like bullied when you're like 10 or 12, it really makes an impact. And definitely one of the greatest doubts that I've had is whether I would succeed even though I'm different. I saw it as something bad when I was a teenager, because every teenager sees those things as a bad. All you want to do is fit in. And I wish I took more pride in being different, in being proactive, in being outspoken, in doing what other people don't want to do, in being so brave as I was to like go against what I don't appreciate in the society. I wish I took more pride in that, because now when I'm 23, I take all of this difference as a badge of honor. And I'm really proud that I didn't let that peer pressure to put me down. But definitely, if I could say one advice about this, do what you think is right. Even if anyone else and everyone else says you shouldn't do it, that it's a waste of time, that it's stupid, that you're a geek, that you're this, that you're that, just do you. Like, regardless of what other people say, just do you.
Una, speaking of all of that you just kind of touched upon, my kind of final question would be, what's next for you? How do you navigate? What are your next steps, especially if you're, well situated in a job, you're also working on your startup, you have your extracurriculars, you travel. What is something you're looking forward to in the future?
What I'm looking forward in the future is to see what it brings me. There are some things that I would like to achieve. For instance, some international education to receive to also upskill myself, but also to have a stronger base for the startup that I would like to start. It's sometimes a waste of time to plan everything. It's sometimes. Not by coincidence, of course, there's a lot of little things to have something overnight. But sometimes, like overnight, you get an opportunity of your dreams without even looking for it. So I'm definitely going to continue being myself, continue procuring and asking for and receiving educations, continue doing what I think matters throughout the work and throughout my NGO engagement. And we will see.
Is there any last piece of advice you would leave our listeners with? I feel like we have Una's playbook here today of different pieces of advices that I'm going to take. Is there one last thing you'd like to say to them as somebody who's just starting their entrepreneurial journey?
Don't be afraid to make the decision that you think is right. Because no one else is in your mind, no one else knows what you think, no one else has the experience that you do. It's good to hear everyone, but listen to yourself.
Great. Thank you so much, Una, for your time. Thank you for joining us today and hope to see you soon.
Thank you, Anya. Goodbye.